Hey, what's going on, family? Good evening, good evening, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Queen of Destiny is in the house. What's going on? She's here, she's here. All right. What's going on, Maggie? Good to see you. Kenny Blanco, Dulce Maria. Hello. What's going on, everybody? It's another Wednesday night. We were in the deep freeze last week. It was like it got down into the teens here. Today, it was 70 degrees. Can you believe that? I can. That's the way it is in Texas. So, as the old saying goes in Texas, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. So, it'll change. Just wait a minute. Let's see. That's Samaria Monet. Hello. Brian McNeil, what's up? Good to have you guys here. It's a happening night, a happening weekend, or a happening week, I should say. So it's what is coming up? Valentine's Day is coming up. You know, guys, just like when it comes to Valentine's Day, that's a day of pressure for us. Yes, it is. Rhonda Creator, what's going on, Rhonda? Good to have you here, sister. Thank you for being here. Rhonda's always here, large and in charge all the time. Bernadette Coleman, what's going on, family? Good to have you. And let's see. That's Solar IU. Hello. Love Flow. Hello. Love that name. Love Flow. Althea Gibson. Hello. Fort Law is in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Ruben Smith. Hello. What's up, family? All right. D. Brooks. All right. Solar is fine. Okay, Solar. I appreciate that. And the Dark Goddess is in the house. Good to have you here, Dark Goddess. She's here. Some of my moderators are here, large and in charge. Man, I appreciate you guys. I really do. I really do. Thank you guys for being here so much. Yeah. So Valentine's Day. How many of you guys are feeling pressure? Oh man. What's the old saying? Hey, break up before Valentine's Day and then get back together afterwards. No, I think these holidays are a conspiracy to put pressure on men and to stress us out. That's what they are. Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, all we get is Father's Day and we get a tie, easy. But every other day, every holiday, every birthday, it's for the ladies, not us. What's up? What's wrong with that picture? We got to change that. What's up, God is God? Hotep. Eugene, what's going on? Good to have you here. Let's see. Rhonda says y'all better get those gifts. So y'all better get those gifts, right? Pony up. Now, what's going on, Lakeisha Cersei? What's happening? Good to see you, sister. Good to see you. Family's in the house. All right. Yeah. Let's see. So I said they already booked a deep 90-minute deep tissue massage. Now the thing to do is to give the massage. That's the thing. Yeah. Let's see. Samaria Monet says y'all just need the right woman. I guess you're right. What's going on? Cannabis Maximus, what's happening? Good to see you. So yeah. So yeah, deep tissue massage. Yeah, that's some good stuff there. So for sure. All right, guys. So we're gonna get this rolling. And tonight, so the topic tonight is gonna be about be, do, have. So we can talk about anything. So I'm just gonna start it off with a few notes on some ideas that I've been kind of sharing been sharing this week, and I think they're really pertinent to us living the life that we really desire. So a big part of that is just being doing, and having. They're all connected. So I'm Reginald Kuakaru, and or Reginald Martin. Kuakaru is my Kemetic name. So that means instructed soul or master of gnosis. And I help people remove negative Christian programming so that they can live life boldly, authentically, and on their terms. Now, one of the most difficult things I have in front of me is to let people know how amazing learning the Kemetic paradigm is, okay? And those of us that practice it, we're sold on it because we know how it's changed our lives. I mean, it literally, I'm saying literally changed my life and is changing my life, okay? So it's an ongoing process for me. So from the Kemetic perspective, we know we're gods and goddesses in training, okay? And that's not meant to be from a egotistical standpoint. It's just from the African perspective, there is only one creator. The one creator cannot split itself. It only makes from itself the substance of what it is, okay? So if there's one creator and everything comes from that creator, then everything in creation has a seed or is a part of that creator within them, or has a seed within them, okay? Everybody, okay? Everything, all right? So we can say that I am a god or I am a goddess, okay? And that's not egotistical. It just means that you recognize that you have an aspect of the creator that is a part of who you are. And I say that again, it's a part of who you are, okay? So it kills me when I hear these I don't know what you call them, the skeptics or the cynical types that say, well, if you're a god, how come you can't snap your fingers and do such and such and such and such, okay? And I'll say again, we are gods and goddesses in training. There might come a day that we can snap our fingers and we do such and such. But if you're in training, that means you're learning. You have to go through some stuff to learn. So if a baby, you wouldn't look at a baby and say, hey, you can't walk and talk, so you're not human. Well, a baby is like, part of their parents or shares DNA with their parents, but that doesn't mean that they are not human because they can't do everything that a grown-up can. It just means that they still got things to learn. So as gods and goddesses in training, we have things to learn, plain and simple, okay? So what I've been talking about this week is the idea of basically using a framework to really move you towards or get you into your training, okay? So that's a really thing. So this like, I would call it a framework of achievement, okay? And it has to occur in anyone's life that is successful at anything. This framework has to happen. We don't think of it in these terms, so I'm kind of giving you a little another way to look at it, okay? And there's my daughter. She's in the house. What's going on, daughter of mine? Good to have you. Good to have you. So learning the Kemetic principles will help you first learn how to operate that framework within that framework in a way like nothing else can, okay? Because it doesn't put you in conflict with yourself, So I say that Christianity and Kemetic and the Kemetic paradigm, they are definitely two ways of life. But the Kemetic way of life improves your life. And any of us that has ever been Christian understand how Christianity puts us in conflict with living life, okay? All the time. It's just something that happens. So the framework that I've been talking about is be, do, and have, okay? So be, do, and have. It's this simple. It's that simple of a framework, okay? So this is really putting these amazing teachings in a simple way to grasp it, okay? So when we say be, Being means it speaks to your identity, okay? Your I am. All right? So when you say I am, you are basically speaking to your identity. I am wealthy. Or in the case of a lot of us Black people, what we say is uh, we'll say something like the struggle is real. So what you're really saying to yourself is I am struggle. Okay. I am broke. I don't have this. I don't have that. All of the I ams are speaking to a lack of abundance. That's not your truth. Okay. Because you are a God in training, you have access to all the abundance that you want and desire. Okay. But your I am or your being has to shift to an identity of abundance. Okay. And not of lack. All right. So do is doing is speaking to the actions that you take so that you can have what you desire. So being, when you become who you're supposed to be, you will have the ability to do and live your purpose. Because that's ultimately when being and doing match, you're living your purpose and you'll gain what you're supposed to have. Okay. So you realize that right now on some part of your life, you desire what you want. Okay. You have a desire. And whatever that may be, it could be a loving relationship, it could be a new house, a business, more money, anything. But what you have right now is there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. There's a gap. I'll say that again. There's a gap from where you are to where you want to be. Okay? So being is input for doing. So in other words, when you are being who you are and living who you are, then you start to do who you are. And when you start to do who you are, living through your purpose, then you have what you desire. Okay? Plain and simple. When the first two match, the third one has to come. Okay? But you have to know who you are. And the biggest issue that people have living their purpose is that they don't know who they are. Okay? You accept what society tells you who you should be. Even if every day it is excruciatingly painful. You hate your life. You hate what you're living or the way that you're living. But you learn these ideas that life is supposed to be a sacrifice and you're supposed to suffer. Okay? You just simply live a life of quiet desperation because you don't know any other way. Okay? You don't know any other way. And that's where there's a difference between the Christian way of living, okay, of living life, or the Christian way of telling you how you should live life, okay? Because there's always a struggle between, for Christianity, there's a struggle between being spiritual and fleshly, okay? There's always, they set up this dichotomy there when it never is supposed to be, okay? So with the Kemetic principles, you learn how to become, or you learn to become, okay? Which is the original meaning of Genesis, okay? Genesis doesn't mean the beginning, it means becoming. And that's something that is always a process for you. Always a process. So when you become who you are supposed to be, and you live boldly, authentically, and authentic means from an authentic or original source. The source is known. When you know thyself and you live being who you are, you're living authentically. Then you have the ability to do that unapologetically. When you live unapologetically, you do that without guilt and shame. Because you're doing, or you're being who you're supposed to be. You're doing what you love, and you're having what you know you're supposed to have, because you know you're supposed to be abundant. Okay? When you have those three things, life becomes magical. When you're practicing from your God, goddess self, life is magical. Okay? You gain confidence automatically. You gain confidence in all areas of your life. Okay? You don't live life afraid. Afraid, oh, what if I mess up? No, hey, if I mess up, I learn. So a mistake is not something that you're afraid of. A mistake or a misstep is something that you learn from. That's where what the difference is. When you don't have confidence in yourself, what you end up doing, it makes you so afraid to live that any mistake you make becomes confirmation of your already low opinion of yourself. It's not a learning experience. It's confirmation for your already low belief in who you are. Okay? That's the difference between a person that is confident and a person that's not. A person of confidence will strike out and reach for more because they know even if they don't win in the moment, that they're going to get something from it. They're going to get something out of it that might build a foundation to build something on later. But a person that lacks confidence fears failure. They fear failure because failure becomes confirmation of their already low self-esteem. Okay? Where are you on this scale? All right. If there is this gap between where you are and what you want to be, how do you get there? How do you bridge it? Okay. What framework are you using? If you're still living through the Christian framework, or I'm a sinner, I'm a wretch, that gap is going to stay there. That's your framework that you're living in. You're beating yourself up and beating yourself down. Or do you live from the Kemetic framework of I am a god or goddess in training? Okay. Which one do you think is going to uplift you more? That's a rhetorical question, guys, because you already know. You already know. But it all starts with being or your I am. Okay. It's impossible to do it if you have not become it. And I used an analogy today. And Bernadette, thank you for that $20. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, sister. But if you are an assistant manager, and I'm just using that just as an analogy, okay? Say you're an assistant manager somewhere. In order to get promoted, you have to become a manager before they give you the title. You have to become it before you can be it. Anybody that's on any job understands that principle. Anybody that's ever succeeded understands that they become it before they get the title. Okay? So you have to be it. Then you gain the ability of a manager to do it and accomplish the task. And once you gain the ability, then you have the abundance, or you have the more money once they promote you. Okay? It's no different. That is no different than any aspect of your life. If you want to make $1 million, you want to become a millionaire. If you're not a millionaire today, then you're going to have to make some changes. That means you're going to have to get some new input. That you're going to have to gain some knowledge. You're going to gain some skills in order to move from where you are to being a millionaire. It's not going to happen any other way. Now, some people are automatically gifted. you know, and they know how to do these things, but it's part of who they are. That gift is just part of who they are. But if you're not, then you have to get some new input. Okay. So until you know who you are, there'll always be a gap between being and who you are today and having what you desire. What do you want to do? Okay. What are you living today? What's the gap that you have that you want to change, but you keep doing the same shit you did yesterday, the day before, last month, and you're expecting different results tomorrow, next year, and the year after? You know that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing you did yesterday and expecting different results. It doesn't happen. People say that you know where you're going to be. If you know where you're going to be in the next 5 years, if you get no new input and nothing changes financially, the last 5 years that you had is going to be exactly the same as the next 5 years if you do absolutely nothing different. You cannot do the same thing and expect different results. It does not happen. Okay? So be, do, and have. What are you being? What are you doing in order to get what you desire? Have is about your possessions. Okay? What are you being? What's the input that you're from your being that you're doing to get what you desire or have? Okay? So that's what it's about. All right. Now, if you want to learn these principles, you can go to the African Mind, www.africanmindrewire. So I have a class that's teaching these ideas and giving these foundational principles of be, do, have. Okay. You learn sacred mastery principles, sacred mastery processes, because it is about the processes. We think having is about the event, but it's about the processes that you use to get there. How are you bridging yourself from where you are to going over to what you desire? Okay. That's what it's about. All right. All right. Thank you for putting that up, daughter of mine. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. Queen of Destiny gave $10. Thank you, Queen of Destiny. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. For real, for real. Says love and light and healing. I am the truth, the way, and the light. Love you, Reggie and family. Thank you. Thank you, Nadine. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. So that's it. So be, do, and have. Be, do, and have. Okay. You have to know who you are. Your I am has to speak to what you do. Okay. Your I am should be, what you do should be an extension of your I am or who you're being. Okay. When you do that, you no longer are working. You're living and loving. You're loving what you do. If you're not in that place, why not? Okay. And I don't mean that in a way of trying to beat you up and beat you down. I'm just wanting you to ask yourself that question. If where you are is not where you want to be, why not? And what are you going to do to get there? That's the thing. Okay. So when I'm talking about living comedic principles, I'm not talking about going around like, oh God, just things are just so wonderful, Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord. What? Man, fuck all of that. It's about you living life on your terms and you living life the way you want to live it. Okay. Having the courage to do it. That's what it's about. And that's what this knowledge and information will give you the confidence to do, is to live life on your terms. It'll build a foundation like nothing else. And if you're not living that foundation, man, I mean, you're wasting time. You really are. Plain and simple. Okay. Lakeisha Cersei says, I am a goddess. And she gave $9.99. Thank you, Lakeisha. Definitely appreciate it. I am a goddess. Okay. She's a goddess in training. All right. All of us, whether we know it or not, all of us, all of you here that are in here right now, you're all gods and goddesses in training, whether you know it or not. Now, if you don't know it, you're going to play the victim. You're going to feel like you're powerless. Okay? But when you figure out that you are a god and goddess, you start to think differently. The input starts to be different. Okay? This is where the scripture says, as a man thinketh, or in this case, as a man or woman thinketh, so is he or she in her heart or his heart. All that means is be, do, and have. That's what it's talking about. When you think a certain way, that's the input that you're accepting, and the life that you're starting to live from, the foundation and of what you're doing. It becomes the input for what you do. And if you feel like you're helpless, you're going to do whatever just to get by because you feel like you're powerless. Okay? So Dosa Maria says, man, you're talking loud tonight. Thank you. It's showtime, like it's showtime at the Apollo. Am I talking loud? That's because I'm like fired up. Fired up. Yeah, fired up. So that's it. Maybe I just need to move back off the mic or something, you know? No. Hey, it is what it is, Dosa Maria. I can't help myself, you know? Make me want to jump back and kiss myself. Whoo, man, love me some me. But anyway, hey. All right. Let's see. All right. Man, I broke out in a sweat. Dang. Oh, man. Give me some tissue. Tito, give me some tissue. Okay, let's see here. Cannabis Maximus gave 1111, said thank you. All in, ready to manifest. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. All right. Okay. So any questions? Ruben Smith. All right. See, family is coming up again. Man, family is always taking care of me. Gave $20. Says, I am peace and love. All right. KCL family. Yes. Yes. All day. Crystal Turner's in the house. What's up? What's up? Love JJ's in the house. I see you, brother. I see you. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, yeah. All right. So let's see. Eugene Doyle says, if you are children of the Most High, ye are gods and goddesses. Mom and I had an argument about that. Hey, it says it in the Bible. Guys, look up John 10 and 34. That's what it says. And all the Bible is doing in these instances is confirming the Kemetic stuff, because the Bible is an extension of Kemeticism, but twisted and really locked through ignorance. But if you understand it esoterically, you get some keys to unlock a lot of this knowledge that's in the Bible. Okay. So I used to be an adversary with the Bible. I mean, man, the best thing it used to be for me was a door stop. I just put it by the door just to keep it open. I was mad at the Bible and Christianity for a long time. Okay. That was just, so if I can give you any amount of wisdom, is don't go through that like I did. And a lot of people do. It's not necessary. Okay. Because you can actually, Kemetic spirituality can exist alongside of anything. Now, the Christian dogma is going to hem you up. There just ain't no two ways about it. It's going to screw you up. Okay. It screws all of us up. That's just what it does, you know, because it contradicts itself, you know, that's what it does. But man, you can live the Kemetic, understand these principles, these metaphysical principles, and it frees you. It empowers you. All right, for real, for real. All right, let's see. We got any questions? Any questions? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Right, Queen of Death says, that's right. Many of our people don't want to admit it because they feel They're defying God. So we're denying ourselves. You know, exactly. I mean, it's they think that it's egotistical to say I am a God. If you don't understand the principle, then you will think that's egotistical. The idea that you're supposed to talk down about yourself and be humble, that's bullshit. Humble is understanding who you are, okay? Not being self-effacing, talking down, self-loathing, all of that's not being humble. You're supposed to know the good stuff about yourself too. All of us can repeat and rehash anything negative that anybody's ever said about us. But there's this unwritten rule in society that I can't say the good stuff about myself, but somebody else can. It's okay for somebody else to say it. Why not? If you know that's who you are, why can't you say, hey, I'm intelligent? You know? Why can't you say, hey, I'm pretty or I'm this, I'm that? Why? If you know that's who you are. You should be able to look in the mirror every single day. Every morning when you wake up, you should be able to look in the mirror and say, I am something good. And I'm saying, I am, put something positive behind I am. A few things. You should be able to do that. I remember when I was teaching, I had this fourth grade class, and it was in the inner city. And every morning I had what I call the circle of love. They acted like they hated that name, but we grew to like really, really appreciate it. But in the circle of love, every morning I would have them say something. I would have them say, I am, and then say something positive about themselves. Okay. I had about 25 to 30 students. In the beginning, it was like pulling teeth to get these kids to say something positive about themselves. But we did it every morning. And by the middle of the year, man, they were just going around just rattling the stuff off, you know? Coincidentally, classroom behavior started to be a lot better. Okay? Because when you know who you are and you look at yourself as something good, you can't do things that are not good. Being is input for doing. Okay? Plain and simple. When you know who you are, you're not going to live incongruent to who you are. If you believe something good and positive about yourself, you're not going to live in a way that's negative. You can't do it. You're going to be in conflict. So you're going to endeavor to live in congruent with who you believe yourself to be. Plain and simple. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm beating a dead horse, am I? Okay. Let's see. You would have been one of those students found it hard to say something about yourself positive, Eugene. Is that what you're saying? And a lot of us are that way. A lot of us are that way. Okay. But we got to own the good stuff about ourselves too. And too many of us will own all the bad stuff. We'll spout that off real quick. Okay. But we will not say the good stuff about ourselves because we want to be looked at as humble. We're humble people. Okay. But if you are eating humble pie in that way, all you're doing is planting seeds for your own self-destruction. Because you'll allow people to grab on to that negative stuff and pile on to it if they so desire. And some people will do that. But when you know who you are from a positive perspective, you'll stop them. Plain and simple. Okay? Plain and simple. Let's see. Is there a way to pray properly, comedically? And if so, how is it done? Woo, that's a deep one. And that's actually something that I teach teach in the class. But absolutely, and the whole idea is that you really have to, there's a different paradigm when you're talking about Kemetic praying. There's a whole different paradigm, and that paradigm informs your life. Okay. And you can actually look up. See, I have a video that I did on it called "If I Don't Pray to Jesus, Who Do I Pray to?" That's the title of the video. If I don't pray to Jesus, who do I pray to? Okay. And that video talks specifically and teaches you the principle. I give away some powerful shit on this channel. I really do. And that video, I promise you, if you watch that video and your life is not changed in 30 days, you're doing something wrong, or you're not doing it at all. Because if you watch that video and apply what I'm telling you to do on that video, you will change. But before you get to the video, I'll talk about it here. Is that the different input, because from a Christian perspective, it was about the acts. Okay, adoration, what is it? The adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. Okay. Oh, great God, almighty Jehovah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Thank you for being such a wonderful blah, blah, blah in my life. Okay. I am, the confession. I'm nothing but a sinner, God, but thank you for being such and such and such. God, would you please, the supplication, okay, mean begging for something. Would you please do such and such for me? Okay, that's the Christian idea of prayer. And many of us have heard our deacons pray this way. We didn't know that they were going through the ACTS. We didn't know that that's what they were doing. But if you hear them, the one that have learned that formula, you'll hear it, okay, in church. But it has nothing to do with informing the way that you live life. And this is why I say that the Kemetic paradigm will improve your life, because what you will begin to understand from the Kemetic paradigm, it doesn't have a damn thing to do with what you say. Well, now I won't say it won't have nothing to do, because words frame ideas, okay? But it's more about who you are being. Prayer becomes more about who you are being, okay? Every day, every minute. It's not just when you put your hands together and bow your head and get on your knees, okay? This is why I say Kemetic principles will improve your life, because if you don't understand the how to speak to the universe or speak to God from your own center of being, then you can't change and you can't reshape your reality. But prayer becomes more about the signals that you send to the universe, your vibration. Okay, it becomes about because your thoughts are certain, can carry a vibration. It becomes a way that you think all day, every day, because you are never not praying. That's what you have to understand from a Kemetic paradigm. You are never not praying. Double negative intended. Okay? You are always praying. When you understand that you're always emitting information into the universe from your center of being. Always. Now, the question is, what is that information? If you have a negative mindset, then you're sending negative signals to the universe. If you live in fear, you're sending fearful signals. And those signals it's almost like the universe is a mirror in a way. And those signals bounce back to you and become the events and people and your life of your life. Life becomes a reflection of who you are being. Okay? So if your negative thought process, your negative thought process becomes your prayer. So it behooves you to switch that. Okay? And it behooves you to start to think and put things out in a positive way. And I always say, one of the things I say is, luck is a process, not an event. The more that you believe that something positive is going to happen, the stronger the positive possibilities come or start to come to you. Things just start to come to you. It almost seems like magic a lot of times. But prayer is not just this. It's not the ritual. It's your way of being. Okay? All right. So that's one way to look at that. So prayer is powerful when you understand the principle. Okay? All right. Let's see here. Same when you do interrogating, when you're asking a certain energy is projected back to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't have to pray in front of others. No, you don't. Don't have to. You're when you're alone, you're praying. Trust me. You're thinking about something. You're praying. When you desire something, you're praying. Okay? A lot of times, those prayers are subconscious. Most times they are. Those prayers are subconscious. Your subconscious programming is what you're usually seeing in your life. So science says that 95% of what you see in your life is your subconscious programming. Now, for a lot of people, that's scary. But in reality, that programming, most of it is good. If unless you're like in dire straits every moment of every hour of every day, your subconscious programming, most of it is good. Okay. So you got to figure out if you want to make a change. You want to make a change. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, sorry, I had a flashback. But seriously, if you want to make a change, you have to change your input. So if you want to have something different, you got to change the input of who you're being. You can't get around that. That's science. That's spiritual science. You can't if you are being this and you're getting this, there's a reason. Okay? There's a reason. So if you want to change this, you got to change the input. You have to be something different, so you'll do something different, so you'll have something different. Plain and simple. Okay? All right, all right. King of Pop MG's, yeah, MJ, make a change. You gotta make a change. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Orion. Says great teacher, good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. Orion Roberts. Orion Roberts, that's funny. Connected to Oral Roberts. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Cash App, yeah, is cool. The $ cool Akaru1. Thank you, daughter. Thank you. See, will you ever create a comedic journal with comedic reminders? Not sure what you mean by that. But when it comes to written stuff, I write a lot of stuff, but I like to do stuff online. So that's kind of my thing. Just I like to put it online. So usually, like people say, hey man, you should write a book. You should do that. But I just like doing stuff online. It's easier and quicker for me to put something together online than it is for me to put a book together or whatever. So I like doing it that way. Let's see. Question: how do you know what to decide to be to reach a specific goal? Interesting question. Because if you want something, you want to have something, then in order to get it, to reach that goal, you have to become it. In other words, it's like if I'm going to be when I wanted to become a teacher, okay, I had to learn skills, pass a test in order to become a school teacher. All right. So I changed I was in retail management at the time. But I had to change. In order to become a school teacher, I had to gain some new knowledge, learn some new skills, and then get certified to do it. So if you you have the goal, and usually that's what we'll do is we'll put a goal out first. Well, if you have that goal, then you have to, and you want to meet that goal, then you got to do what you need to do to put the things together, or start learning the things that you need to learn in order to reach that goal. Okay. So the thing is does the goal and who you are, does it match? Are you doing something that you love doing? Because a lot of times we'll just do something for the money. I remember when I was when I graduated college, and there was and I went to basically a white Southern Baptist school, and I remember a lot of people asking me, "Well, what is it that you want to do once you graduate?" That was like the weirdest question to me, and this is why. Because it's coming from where I came from. I came from basically poverty, okay? And coming from where I came from, shit, you just wanted to make some money. So when I got a degree, I was like, man, I'm going to be able to make some money. And then they asked me like, well, what is it that you would like to do? What is it that I would like to do? Make some money. That was like the dumbest question to me. Well, it wasn't dumb. It was just strange. And it wasn't until years later that I figured out you want to do things that you love, because just making money, you can get into jobs. And I had a job. I was an insurance adjuster for a lot of years. I hated it. I got paid some good money doing it, but I hated it. It was stressful. I wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep because I was thinking about all these claims and files that I had to shuffle around, you know? So it wasn't about just making money. It became about me doing something. And what I realized is that I enjoyed serving people. I enjoyed being in service to others, you know? So I ended up getting jobs where I was like working in retail, but it was serving people. It was doing something that I enjoyed, serving customers and stuff like that. That was the kind of stuff I enjoyed. I didn't make as much money, but I enjoyed going to work more, you know? And now I'm doing what I love. I'm in service to others. I'm in service to humanity doing what I love, you know? Life is a lot more fun to me now. Life is a lot better now, you know? And I enjoy what I do. Just being here tonight, being in service, I enjoy that, okay? So what's your goal? Is what do you have to become in order to reach your goal? And when you become, is it who you are? Will you be living your purpose? That's the question that you really want to figure out. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Are all Kemetic deities anthropomorphisms? Yes, they are. So they were never living beings. And understand that you can look at this two different ways. So usually the Romans and Greeks humanized their gods. Okay. And when I say humanize, they made their god like a human, angry, jealous, made it with other humans, blah, blah, blah. They humanized God. But ancient Africans didn't do that. Ancient Africans, who the Greeks learned their stuff from, ancient Africans would say that's a childish way of thinking, that you would make God like a human being. What the ancient Africans did was anthropomorphized. And all that means is that you in order to explain a law of the universe or some aspect of the universe, you will use a human aspect to give you in an analogy to give you an idea of what God is like or the universe is like. Okay, so from a Roman and a Greek perspective, they would say God sees all. Okay. And they would be like, God is looking down on you. Hey, dude, you masturbating. You better quit, because God's going to see you. He's going to send you to hell. Okay. That was the Roman idea. But from the African perspective, when we talk about an anthropomorphic idea, God doesn't see all. God is aware of all. Okay. not with its eyes, just it is aware. It is omnipotent, okay? Omniscient, okay? So there's a slight difference there. God wasn't human. God is not a human being. So this idea that God is a big white dude in the sky waiting on you to masturbate so he can send a lightning bolt and send you to hell, no, that's not it. Okay, so God is not human, and even the idea of humanizing God in the form of Jesus, from a Kemetic perspective, is a childlike way of thinking, because God wasn't human. But the idea of Jesus was supposed to represent all of an aspect of all of us, that we are all a seed, have a seed of the Creator, or we are incipient or beginning stages of God's learning. Okay, that's what the idea of the Christ and Jesus was supposed to mean. Jesus was a personification of the idea, okay, not a human being. Okay, Jesus was a personification of the seed of light or enlightenment. Okay, so that's what it was supposed to be. All right, good question. Good question. Let's see here. Henry Jones says we're in hell right now. And from a Kemetic perspective, you're absolutely right. We're in hell now. We're in the underworld or Hades or Sheol or however they want to, excuse me, the ancients call that. We're in the underworld. So the underworld from the perspective of a soul is earth. Okay. Osiris, as a Kemetic and Egyptian god, as they call him, but it wasn't a god. It's an anthropomorphication. It was an anthropomorphic idea of the soul. Okay, so Osiris is the soul that's within us. Okay, the soul within a human being. All right. So when that soul descends from the heavens and into earth, it is going down into the underworld. That's why they call Osiris the god of the underworld. But that God is an aspect of every single one of us, not one specific human, like the Christians want to make Jesus. Okay, so that's what that is. Let's see. Kawana Coleman says, love your show. I hate that human characteristics are put on the creator. It had to be broken down for our 3D minds right now to understand. Absolutely. Courtney, the SLP, what's up, sister? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Let's see. Thank you, Energy, Core Energy. Phenomenal explanation, Core Energy says. So thank you very much. All right, I'm just looking. I'm looking. All right. Okay, guys. We got any questions? So any questions? I see y'all kind of talking amongst yourself. That's cool. I love to see that in the community. So you guys are awesome. I so appreciate y'all. I really do. I really do. Let's see. Anybody else got any questions? So just waiting for some questions. Well, I see a couple of people gave here on Cash App. So D Brooks sent $20 on Cash App. Thank you, D Brooks. And Samira Henderson sent $8.11. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's see. And Althea Gibson signed up for the class. Good to have you here, sister. Good to have you here. So thank you for sign up. You'll get some good teachings, and make sure you sign up for the community and everything. So for sure. Let's see. Solar says, what exactly is the higher self? That's an excellent question. I really appreciate that one. So understand that the higher self, so if the Osiris is the aspect of the soul that is within the human body or in the underworld, the higher self is not in the underworld. It's outside of time and space. So it's still that part of us that is connected to the all and the creator. Okay. So we're all connected, but the higher self is you kind of I like to use an analogy to teach this. So You think of the higher self as being on a mountaintop, and then us and our physical body being down in the valley. Okay. Well, the higher self has a higher vantage point. So the lower self or our human self, we might be walking through the valley and we hit a roadblock and we can't see any way around that roadblock. But the higher self from that vantage point, if you surrender to your higher self, can send you information and knowledge to help you around the roadblock. Okay. Now the roadblock can be anything. It's just name something that happens in life that screws us up. Okay. It could be anything. It could be drugs. It could be, you know, I don't know. So you name it. Okay. So the higher self is on the mountaintop, and the lower self for us is in the valley. The higher self is able to see a wider range and have a wider vantage point to help you navigate through the valley. That's a good analogy to use. Okay. So the difference between the higher self and the lower self, if that makes any sense. All right. All right. Solar says, thank you. Okay, that made sense to you. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Appreciate that. Let's see. Sculpture. Let's see. Can you explain the 11 laws? The 11 laws of Ma'at. I don't even know what the 11 laws of Ma'at is. I've never heard of that. So when I talk about the universal laws, it's, you know, one is that what you put out is what you get back. You know, life is, so then another way of saying that, life is a reflection. Okay. So, I mean, for me, it might be 3 or 4 laws. Okay. They're very simple. So 11 law. Okay. Talking about the 41 law, the 41 laws of mind, 42 negative confessions. That's it. 42 negative confessions. And that stuff, from all that I know and all that I've learned and all that I've ever practiced, negative confessions do not work. So I know somebody has said that and said that the 10 Commandments come from that, but I've never seen that anywhere. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but from my knowledge of universal laws, the negative confessions do not fit into how we're supposed to live our life. You know, in other words, I am not this, I am not that, I am not. Because as soon as you say I am not something, you're literally focused on the something you're saying that I'm not. So the universe, in that sense, the universe doesn't hear I am not. The universe responds to what you're focused on. So it behooves you to talk about what you want, not what you don't want. Because when you're speaking about what you don't want, guess what you're focused on? Okay? It's really that simple. So I am not a thief. I am not broke. I am not this. But what you're stating is all the stuff you're focused on. Okay? So that's how the universe works. What you put out is what you get back. What you focused on is you're going to get the confirmation sent back to you in the form of life. The events, the people, the things that happen in your life. Okay? Let's see. Question. Heard you mention that the phrase Christ consciousness is not quite a logical phrase as it pertains to Kemetic science. Can you explain that further? Because people are saying, when they're talking about Christ consciousness, they're talking about being like Christ or being like Jesus. Okay. So they're putting this humanistic idea of how Jesus might have thought or how Jesus might have been. But when you're talking about Christ, Christ is a level of enlightenment that you've reached in any area of your life. It could be something very simple. Okay. So Christ consciousness does not exist per se. It is about your development and the evolution of your consciousness. Okay. So when they're talking about Christ, people talking about Christ consciousness, they're putting the idea that Christ was a person and you should have consciousness like Christ. So from a Kemetic perspective, that doesn't compute. Okay, because Christ was not a human being. Christ was not a person. It was simply a title. And everybody, man or woman, had the ability to become a Christ. Everybody. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Right. That's where the Ten Commandments came. John came from the laws of my art. Let's see. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Let's see. Right. Right. Love JJ does not compute. Let's see. All right. So, any more questions? Questions? Come on with them. Come on with them. We got it. Well, we're coming up on the bewitching hour. Let's see. Dark Goddess, you got me on that one. I have no idea. Oh man. Yeah, come on with it. Come on with it. Okay. I'm gonna wait for just a couple of more minutes and then we gotta shut this puppy down. Gotta shut this puppy down. So let's see here. Nikita Henderson gave $12. So thank you very much, Nikita. She gave $12 on Cash App. Thank you very much, Nikita. Most appreciated. All right, all right, all right. Ooh. Let's see. Question. Let's see. Is the simple principle that you mentioned from, let's see, from do have similar with believing, receiving, and having what you want? Yeah, it's similar. You could. That's another way that you could put in it. So believing the way that you think. Okay, and receiving is just you receiving from what you're doing. So understand that being is input for doing. So when you're being something, you're going to do something a certain way. And when you do something a certain way, it's input for having or what you receive, your possessions. So when you do something a certain way, you're going to get certain things. Be, do, and have. Okay? So yeah, Dulcie Maria, you can look at it that way. So absolutely. Let's see. What does Kemetic spirituality say about porn addiction? So, did porn exist back then? And see, I know this is coming from a Christian perspective because people think that the Bible, that is 2,000 years old, has the answer for everything for today as well, as if everything then that we have now existed then. Okay? So, the Kemetic paradigm is not going to say anything about porn addiction because porn didn't exist. And our idea of what an addiction is, they wouldn't even look at idea as an addiction. We how can I say, categorize things today, and we frame it a lot of times in a negative way. Whereas in the ancient Kemetic paradigm, you don't look at it from a negative perspective. It's something that you have to overcome in order to get and have what you desire. Okay, if you're being I'll just say addicted. If you're being addicted to porn and it's getting in the way of what you want, desire, or what you want to have, then it's your journey to get over it. Okay. So a lot of times the way we frame things today can be very negative, but it's just a journey that we have to go on. All of us have had to go on, and I've talked about it before. I've had my ass kicked by life a lot. It's why I learned a lot of shit. Okay? Because I've been kicked around, beat down, all of it. Lost everything I had in my life, everything I owned 2 times. So I'm not afraid of that. I mean, I did it once, and I guess that was so nice I had to do it twice. I don't know. Okay. But that was part of my journey in order to get me where I am today. Without the first time that I lost everything, that's what started me on the journey to studying what I'm teaching now. Okay. If I look back on it now, thinking about what I'm doing now, it was the best thing to happen in my life. But at that time, I didn't see it that way. I couldn't see it that way. I hated it. But it gave me an opportunity to learn, to study. Okay, hours upon hours. All right. So no, the Kemetic. So don't try to have a prescription for today's issue from ancient teachings. It doesn't work that way. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do what you do, teach what you preach. Okay. All right. Let's see. I know I shouldn't be watching, but no porn doesn't get my way. Well, I mean, dude, if you want to watch it, watch it. I mean, I'm like, experience life, because that's how you're going to learn your lessons. So if you're saying I shouldn't do something, who the hell said you shouldn't? Who's telling you how to live your life? Okay. Now, I'm not saying porn is right or wrong, but I'm just saying to you, who's telling you what you should and should not do? That should come from you, not anybody else. Because at that point, you're living in somebody else's body. Maybe you enjoy porn. If you enjoy it, do you. If it starts to get in the way of your life, then you might need to make a change. Okay? But no, you shouldn't be living in a way where you say, I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. Who the hell is telling you what you shouldn't do? Live life on your terms. And if it's not working out, then you need some new input. Simple as that. If what you have is not working out, then who you're being needs to change. And only you can decide that. Nobody else. Okay? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. All right, guys. It's about that time. Let's see. I'll get this last question. It says Aspire. Let's see. Aspire F250 says, if you can change a person's behavior by using comedic science, is that against universal law and karma? A person's behavior only changes if they want to change it. So you can't change somebody else through comedic science. That's not what you should be trying to do anyway. So this is about your journey. That's what comedic science is about. It's about helping you along your journey, not you trying to change other people. And I know that that's what a lot of people want to do. Is first thing they say is, "Oh man, our people need to learn this." And the same people are saying that are the ones who need it the most. They can't see their own shit. They can't see the thorn in other people's eye because they got a plank in theirs. Okay. So it's not about you trying to change others, because ultimately, when you're trying to change somebody else, it's because you're doing something self-serving and selfish. Okay. So it's about your journey, not theirs. All right. Plain and simple. All right. All right, guys. It is 8:09, so we're going to cut it off. And it has been real. I appreciate you guys being here. All my moderators, thank you so very much for being here again. You guys are here every Wednesday night, and I so appreciate you guys. And all you guys that gave, thank you again very much. Y'all priming that pump. Y'all are practicing what you preach, okay? So thank you very much. And thank you all for being here, all right? Until next Wednesday, guys. And guys, stay strong. It's Valentine's Day. Stay strong, guys. All right. Love you guys. Y'all have a good night.